Introducing We're All Just Faking It, a periodic women-led podcast focused on navigating life's general challenges. Listen in on how we and our communities have learned to overcome and adapt to a variety of relatable situations.
Welcome in. Welcome to We're All Just Faking It podcast. We are on episode 2 today, talking about our experience through school. My name is Steph. Today we have Allie, Dana, Blaze, and kind of jumping in from there, guys. School. We did a little bit of math before the podcast. I graduated high school 13 years ago. So I'm just going to take some time over here to process that. I kind of feel like I maybe shouldn't have done that math right before the podcast.
Yeah, no, probably not the best for you.
No. Yeah, so I believe that Dana and Allie both are still going through schooling and university and taking courses. Guys, what are you guys studying?
Allie, would you like to go first, or do you want me to just jump in?
Go for it.
Okay. I'm studying psychology because I don't know, I want to help people. I mean, the whole point of this podcast, you know? And it interests me, and I'd like to be a therapist. And I decided when we were going through lockdowns that I kind of wanted a career change. So now I'm doing university, and I'm back in the education system now.
Heck yeah, doing what you want.
Yeah.
Love it. How long have you been taking courses? Just through the pandemic?
Yeah, so this is my second year, but I'm doing one module a year, so I'm technically still in my first year of university because I'm just taking one module at a time with working full-time at the same time.
Oh my God, and you're working full-time?
Yeah.
I honestly can't imagine working full-time and going to school at the same time.
Technically I'm part-time because I work half days on Fridays now, but I work Monday to Friday, so...
Imagine working 4.5 days and being considered a part-time employee.
I know,
exactly.
It's crazy to me. And yeah, it's so crazy.
So how do you usually find the time to go through school and juggle work at the same time? I know that's definitely been a giant hesitation on my end with getting back in and going for a degree or even taking certification courses. How do you balance your time and avoid burnout? That's huge.
Yeah. So a lot of the time I do study streams because I find that body doubling really helps me, and also people are watching me, so I can't just piss about on my phone or get distracted because people are making me accountable for my work, so that helps a lot. I try and do study streams in my weekend. I try really hard to do something nice for myself in the weekend, so I'm not just uni work and no time off. This morning I cleaned my room because I just got a bit overwhelmed with it all, and it's kind of taken a back burner. So I definitely think finding the time, but with the Pomodoro technique, you do 25 minutes and then you have 5 or 10 minutes where you just have a time away from that, and then go back. So it's not you're working constantly, because I couldn't do a 5-hour block of just doing work. It just wouldn't work for me, and I'd end up doing nothing instead.
Makes a lot of sense. You mentioned earlier body doubling. What is that?
That's a good question. So it's having another person with you, and they could be doing their own work, and you could be doing your work, or they could be sitting there, and it's just helpful to have that extra person while you're doing your work, because you're not just by yourself trying to concentrate and focus on something.
Do you think it's more of a motivation thing, or do you think it's more of someone else is holding you accountable so that you're not dicking around?
For me, it's definitely holding me accountable, because I feel even if they don't care what I'm doing, or they can't see 100% what I'm doing, I feel they know if I'm pissing about, they know, kind of thing.
That was one of the hardest. That was one of the hardest things for me, being in school, because I always doing homework. I wanted to do other things, so just holding myself accountable to actually get stuff done was the hardest thing.
I
I've done
I
nothing this
honestly
weekend.
like I miss my
What did you
school
say, Allie?
library.
I've done nothing this weekend.
Do I blame you? No.
Every time I talk to Allie, it's either it's 2:00 in the morning and I have so much work left to do, but I'm so tired and I can't sleep. And then it's just like an internal struggle, like, do I just get up and do the work because I'm awake anyway and I'm thinking about it? Or it's you're working, or if you're studying. And then on the very rare occasion, Allie will plan a stream. Allie, you are go, 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 go from my point of view 24/7. Like
Yeah.
0 people are upset that you did fuck all this weekend.
I seriously don't know how you do it, Allie. I was saying this the other day, and I'm like, I don't know how.
If you find out, let me know.
It's like, what you doing over there? My best.
So what are
So
you
how do you-
studying, Allie?
Yeah.
I'm studying children and young people. So like growing up, I got involved with like youth groups and things like that, and then I kind of like did like young leader training and things like that, and I just really enjoyed doing the children and youth work. So, I mean, I studied childcare, and then I wasn't planning on going to university. And then, 2 weeks before the course started, I was like, you know what? Let's just apply and let's just do it because I had nothing else planned. So, and here we are today.
I remember when you were applying.
How do you keep the burnout from setting in, just given that you're pretty much 24/7, go, go, go?
That's a very good question.
Are we just biding time till burnout sets in? Is it just not hit yet?
I think I try to give myself time. Like this weekend, I've literally done like nothing other than play Animal Crossing.
I mean, same. I
Same.
did a 16-hour stream yesterday.
I wish.
It was only
I
supposed to be 8.
But yeah, I mean, I like being like up and out and doing things. Like I hate having like downtime. So I always try to give myself some time, like even if it's like an hour a day or something like that. But yeah, that's basically it.
So how long have you been studying the childcare stuff and young people development? Young person development.
So my university course, I'm on my 3rd year, but I did take a gap year last year. And then in the UK, or at least England, the education system is like after school. So once you get to 16, you can either go do A levels or go like to a college and do like a vocational subject. So that is why I did my childcare. So I guess this is my 5th year doing it.
It's been a long time in education and studying. So what Dana and Allie, like, huge question. What do you guys want to be when you grow up?
Mentally stable.
Can we pick something realistic? I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. It's I feel like we are all well on our way for mental stability, just given the current climate of our world, and the amount of effort that we personally invest in our own mental stability. It's really in your hands, isn't it? When it comes down to it, you are responsible for your own mental stability to probably the greatest extent. But same. But no, like, what is the end goal for your career? I mean, if you could use your degree or your schooling and your courses, like, what is the end goal for you guys?
Well, I mean, I basically, what I do for volunteering, like all the children and youth work, I just want to do it but get paid for it.
I get
So-
that.
Basically what I'm doing now, but, like, for money.
Yeah.
Money. I want to make money in the end.
I mean, I like being a supporter and like doing this, and it would be nice if I could like get paid to do that. But I also I didn't know a lot about mental health when I was younger. Like when I was in school, I think like my last year of secondary school when I was like 16, I found out about anxiety, and I was like, hey, I might have that. Like, that sounds really like that's me. And then I had to go to like the doctor and find out about that. And I really want to be a therapist, a counselor, whatever I fit into, because I haven't 100% figured out what role I want. I just want to help young people figure this shit out, you know, help them be a like guiding person like when they're figuring this stuff out, because I really could have done with someone when I was younger, and I'm making up for it now. And that's not to say if they had someone when they were younger they were not going to have it now, but it might be a bit more helpful.
I love
I think about that a lot. Like, I'm not 100% sure if, you know, we had gone through the traditional childhood that things would be much different as we are now as adults. Probably. So specifically young people and not necessarily like therapy for all ages. Your focus is on the early development stages?
I would like to, but to be fair, I've been heavily influenced by my first module, which was centered around young people, and I've still got 4 more modules left to do, and I don't know if I might find out about a different type of therapy, because there are so many that might interest me more to specialize in. But I ideally young people, because like I relate more to young people, and I feel like I would be able to use my experiences to maybe help.
I love that. Blaze. Madam Blaze, do you hold a degree, or what was your schooling experience like?
Actually, yes, I hold 2 degrees. I ended up double majoring in college in supply chain management and computer information systems. And oh my god, little did I know how much work that would actually be. Because I thought, oh, this doesn't add that many courses to my schedule. No, I ended up doing about 19 to 20 hours per like semester easily throughout that time. It also doesn't help that I was in the honors program for the College of Business, which meant I also had to do an honors thesis to graduate with honors. So it was a lot of work, but I think it was worth it in the long run, because I ended up graduating right when the pandemic first happened. And somehow I got lucky enough to have a job directly out of it. And I had actually lost one of my positions that I was applying for. They were like, nope, sorry, we're not hiring anymore. And I was all the way through the process at that point. And then they flipped the switch on me. So I got lucky.
I'm so glad it worked out. I'm so glad it worked out in the end. Are you happy where you are now, post-pandemic? Well, post-pandemic. You guys remember when it was supposed to be 2 weeks from home?
Yes. I've been working from home this entire time, and there's still not a foreseeable future in the office yet for me. So it's been interesting, definitely getting into the job force during everything and not having good enough training. I mean, like, I loved my boss. She's great, but they're moving me now, so I'll have a new boss, and it seems to be looking like we're heading in the right direction for once. So,
well, that's good.
So, how in the hell did you manage a double major and honors courses? Were you doing school full time? Were you working at the same time?
I did school for full time. I did not work during it because I pretty much used the loans that I got for college to pay for my living expenses and for my classes. So I have plenty of loans I'll have to pay back one day.
So what are some tried and true studying techniques that you guys rely on to try to just help close the gap when you have pretty tight deadlines?
Ooh, I think I tried to stay kind of ahead of the game when it came to school. So I did work probably a few days before it was due. Now, there were definitely times where I didn't, so I can't say I'm perfect by any means.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, ADHD, overachieving, high honor student, you know.
I seriously don't know how I made it through.
So sorry, Allie, what were you saying?
I was just gonna say I'm basically the same. Like, I try to get things done before, but I mean, I have a deadline tomorrow, and I have definitely not finished it. And I should have been doing that this weekend, and I have not. So,
I mean, you have several minutes in between while people are speaking that you could just.
I would say so what I did was my degree is through the Open University, so it's all online, and it opened 2 weeks before the course actually started. So I thought, right, let's start now and pretend it started now. And so a lot of the time, Sunday is like my deadline for everything, like in my head. So Sundays is when I kind of rush to get loads more work done. And I have like fake deadlines in my head, which I'm actually like ahead, but like in my head, I'm like, oh, you haven't done this by this date. And then like normally the day of the fake deadline in my head, I've like rushed to get things done. I seem to thrive on stress and like
Same, actually. I think I'm the same way.
That's an
Like,
ADHD thing. Guys, that is 100% an ADHD thing.
Yeah.
Like, we are the most effective when we are in a state of crisis. I can't do the dishes till I literally don't have a dish to eat out of. I don't do my laundry until I literally don't have a pair of panties to put on. And I have to do my fucking laundry. Like, it's
that
everything.
isn't me.
My calendar is overpacked because everything is crisis situation. So it's toxic. That sucks because we're always living in this constant state of stress. So if getting ahead is the key, how the hell do you guys get started?
well, I'm just going to take the lead on this one. Well, it's so stupid because like I find it really hard to start, but then as soon as I put like a 25-minute timer on and just say I'll just do something for 25 minutes, even if I just look at it, at least I've done one thing, and then before I know it, I've like gone through one task or done a different thing. I also find a lot of the time like I have to read a chapter before I start the tasks, and sometimes reading that chapter will take me like 3 days because I just cannot will myself to do it. And I found I just skip it. I do the rest of the stuff and I come back to it later. Or like I've got to watch a couple of videos and I've just skipped it and I've done the other tasks because at least I'm getting through those, and then I can come back to that other thing that's causing me an issue to start. I definitely think pick the easier things to start with. Like if you're struggling with your assignment, start with the introduction, or if the introduction is really hard for you, start with one of your main points. Like you've got a point you really like, great, start with that point and then work from there, because at least that gets you started.
Something that I absolutely love doing. So I have a problem with reading comprehension because I can't get my brain to focus, and I'll read the same fucking sentence 2-3 times in a row and I still didn't actually read the sentence. It's the most infuriating thing in the world.
Yeah.
So of course I'm speaking in a work capacity because I haven't been in school like a very long time. But I take the excerpt of what I'm supposed to read and I put it through a dictation service. Even in Discord, you can drop it in Discord and highlight it and right click and like read it out loud. And I just play that for myself a couple times while I'm doing other tasks. And then by the time I circle back and I need to read the fucking article again, I've pretty much already read it a few times, and it's a lot easier for me to comprehend because I'm recognizing the sentence structure. Throwing that out there for those that are having issues with just like starting the reading, or it's like even like the videos, like you were saying, Dana. I have to do that for work too. I throw them on in the background while I'm working on other stuff. And then as I circle back to that task, then I can go and sit down and watch the video. And it's like I've already pretty much watched it. I mean, we do that with all other media. We have music on in the background, TV on in the background, put work on in the background, put school on in the background.
One of my friends in college did that. She would listen to her stuff. So if it works,
Recording
it works.
lectures. Yeah, if you've got lectures, throw them on. Lectures are super fun to put on in the background while you're doing stuff.
If
I've never
anybody has
sat through a
any
lecture.
tips on writing notes from reading or videos, like that would be helpful, because I find it so hard, one, to read it or listen to it, and then you've then got to write notes. So I normally don't do that until I get to my assignment and it says, oh yeah, this chapter is what you need, and then I just pick out things that I need at that point.
Yeah, when I would read, I would read it and write as I did, which I know a lot of people are like, you should read it first and then go back through. But no, I don't have the patience for that or the time for it. Definitely when I was taking so many classes, I was like, I'm reading it one time through. I'll get what I need while I do it. I'm not reading it again, which I mean might not have been the best thing, but it got me through. So
that's honestly, that's how I do it. I go through it once. I might highlight some stuff. So like projector sheets. This is, of course, when I was in school. I'd grab some projector sheets and a highlighter and throw it over your sheet. And as you're going through, I'd highlight things that I think I need to reference later, go back through it after reading the questions, change the highlights on it. Multiple passes. But I have like massive just reading comprehension issues with my ADHD. I just do not process what I read. It's awful. It's really frustrating. Takes me 20 minutes to read something because I had to do it 4 times in a row.
It took me 10 hours to read a 6-page article once. That's how bad it is.
Oh my gosh. Throw that son of a bitch in some dictation.
That's like me in writing like report papers and stuff like that. I was really weird, and I would like write a paragraph, or I have this bad habit where I write a paragraph and then like I keep going and going, but then I end up going all the way back, completely rewriting it and just adding on and doing the same thing over and over again. It's very not what's the word? Can't think of the word.
Efficient?
Yeah, it's not efficient at all, but it's what works for me. And so that's the way I did it.
With your reading or with your videos, Dana, do you get the questions beforehand, or do you have to go through the content before you get to the point where it's like, this is what you needed to get from the writing?
So I have like a chapter to read, and then I'll have tasks that will be similar to, like, I might have read about a certain psychologist, and then they'll be like, give me some tasks that are similar to the reading, but also some tasks that are similar to something else. Sometimes it doesn't go until the assignment I have to do. Like, I haven't got another one until December. So it might decide that the chapter I read this week is what I need for that assignment. But I've found that with the books, I get conclusions for each part, or summaries. So I just read the summaries if I'm really struggling. I'm like, oh, okay, the summary, that's shorter, that's easier to read. I will read that. I'm not sure if it ever goes in, but I try at least to read that if I can't read anything else.
That makes sense. So let's say if it's electronic keyword searches, go through the questions that are towards the end. And if you got to look up a certain author, researcher, or a mention of a certain psychologist, do a keyword search and then just go read where that keyword comes up.
Yep.
I do that all the time.
Same. I did that so much.
Man, I wish I had that going through school. Those encyclopedias, man. I hated skimming for keywords in those encyclopedias.
I swear, like, children now do not realize how easy they have it with Google. Like,
yes.
I mean, I feel like it's a lost skill in a sense, because like I have now grown up being incredibly resourceful and knowing like where to go and find information. And I don't mean to generalize, and I apologize for anyone that takes offense. I certainly don't mean it in the way that it might come off, but like the younger generation that I've interacted with, especially in the workforce, like y'all are not resourceful. You have an entire box of information right here, and we pretty much use it just to look up cat videos and argue with each other. But like, just fucking Google it. And then, like, maybe go to page 2 on Google. And maybe get off a wiki.
I'm all for
It's here. It's all
Googling
here.
stuff.
I do
I don't
feel
know
Especially
like
in IT.
it's a skill. Googling is a skill. Like, I would
It
100% say if you can Google and find the information you need, that's a really good skill to have.
Yeah.
Something similar during work this past week. I was talking to my new team and they were telling me about the SharePoint site that we have. I'm like, I actually am the one who helped set up almost all of these that you're talking about, because while I was an intern, I did that. So I was like, I know where to find the information. So if anything, I know that. And they were like, well, that's great.
The thing is,
It's
if you
one
don't
less-
if you don't know something, that's not an issue because you can find out that information. But if you can't find the information, then you're forever gonna be at a disadvantage.
Also, if you can't find it online, just ask someone. Like, I feel like,
Collaboration.
yeah,
That's just,
sometimes people don't want to interact with others to ask questions, or they lean too much on someone instead of looking up themselves. So it's kind of
Yeah,
go
I do
either way.
find that sometimes someone asks me a question and I end up Googling it for them, and I'm just like it was the first answer that came up, and I'm like, you couldn't find this? Like, come on.
it's
It's
I had to get
important.
out of the habit where I'm like, someone would ask me a question and I pull out my phone. I'm like, well, Google says. maybe. Allie, what do you do for note taking? I could imagine that there's quite a bit of note formatting with younger people and just documenting their quirks.
I mean, yeah. Back when I did childcare, there was a lot of observations we had to do. Observations is like one of the worst things you can do with like early years kids. But yeah, in regard to like for articles and videos and things like that, I hardly make notes. because
Really?
because I
Really?
can never really intake the like articles and stuff. Like I'll note like the odd thing. I'll be like, oh, that links to so and so, whatever, and I'll note that down. But majority, I'll just highlight things that I think will be important, and then I'll just go back in class when we do our seminar, and we'll just be like, well, I found this, but I don't know if this relates, but this is it.
Got it. Got
I
it.
think
Got
if
it.
you can remember it without having to write it down, I mean, there's no point.
Yeah, that's not me.
Like, you're
That's
doing
I
fine.
if you tell me something and you don't see me write it down somewhere or see it pop up in the Discord as like a note, or it doesn't go on the to-do list, or there is not some kind of physical representation of me like taking that information and not leaving it in my brain, I will not remember that thing. I have that conversation with every boss I've ever met in my entire life. If you tell me something and I don't reply, got it, you don't see me write it down, or it doesn't immediately happen, I have forgotten about it.
Is that what you're doing now, Steph?
I am taking notes so that I do not forget. But I want to say how I want to
Not a
guide
bad
what
thing.
you guys said.
I love
You know what's going to
that.
happen with these? They're going to go in the fucking trash. But that's okay, because right now they are helping me. What else? What else was really frustrating in school? I mean, looking back, like, holy shit, was it so much easier? I'm so mad I was so anxious to grow up. But then again, like, being a kid sucks. Going through school sucks. Kids suck.
I think it's funny because I had a weird experience with like college versus high school. Everyone, or at least a lot of the people I talk to, are like, high school is so much easier than college. College is gonna be so hard and stuff like that. Honestly, I think I did better in college than I did in high school.
Why do you think that is?
I think it was better learning atmosphere. I cared a lot more because it's my money on the line. So I made more effort. Like, not to say that I was a bad student in high school, because I wasn't, but I definitely put in more effort during college.
High school was a joke. High school, like, at least in America, I can't speak for other states. Like, I grew up in Colorado. I went through their schooling system. School is for teaching you how to find information and how to take tests.
Yep.
It tries to teach you critical thinking, but it doesn't really teach you critical thinking. Instead, it just teaches you how to eliminate, like, narrow down your choices on something. We know what would have been really cool? Taxes. What the fuck are taxes?
We were
How
talking
do
about
I
this.
use taxes? You have to what? So you're telling me, and I love the meme. I love it. You're telling me you know exactly how much I owe you at the end of the year, but I have to guess. And if I'm wrong, I get penalized. But if I'm right, you don't tell me. I just might get a refund. Like,
Yep.
they're the stock market. I would love to learn what stonks are. I think like there should be an early age capitalism class at every high school just to kind of like lay the foundation of what we're fucking walking into.
I was talking about this in my server the other day, and we were talking about what's a class that was useful for students to have in high school or something like that, and I was like, how to do taxes. That was my first like choice, because it's just not, it's something that we need to know that isn't taught. And you have students who are working and they also need to file their own taxes, but how are they going to?
Just claim one and then maybe you get a refund at the end of the year. So
Yeah.
do they teach like basic life skills classes across the pond?
So they used to have home economics, where they used to teach
Okay.
you like budgeting and how to stretch,
Oh.
Food a bit further and stuff like that. When my mum was in school, now they're like, good luck,
I
you've
was
got to
gonna say,
try
I
and
was like,
figure
we
this
never
stuff
had
out
that.
by yourself. Like they don't do anything like that now. We don't get taxes. We don't get told how to budget. We don't get told, hey, this is how you like cook like something substantial, not like food tech where you have to make a fruit salad. Like teach us how to make a meal for like a family of 4 and like cheaply. Like teach us how we're
Mhm.
supposed to fucking live our lives. Like,
Do you think that those courses were cut not only for budgeting reasons, but also because the expectation then fell on the parents to teach their kids how to operate in everyday society? Because I feel like I got more life skills courses going through the foster care system than I did going through traditional schooling. And it kind of clicked a few years ago that, like, I probably got these courses through the foster care system because I didn't have traditional parenting in my life. With that, like to have that expectation that someone was going to teach me these things. So I had to go to a course for it where there were other people who also didn't have parental figures in their life that could show them these life skill classes. And it was mostly like realistic budgeting, like actually surviving off of $1,000 a month,
Yeah.
which is not possible, by the way. You need roommates.
the thing
Definitely.
is, I think a lot of the time parents expect you to learn everything at school, and they don't. Then they're like, oh, how come you don't know how to cook yourself food, or how come you don't know how to use the washing machine? It's like, have you ever shown me? Like, have you ever like explained to me how this works? No, you
That's
just
common sense.
yeah.
It's common sense. You should just know how to do it. Let me just magically pull that knowledge out of my ass. Thanks,
you can't
Mom.
have common sense if it's never been taught to you in the first place.
Yeah.
Like,
as they say,
it infuriates me when I see parents go, oh yeah, my son can't do this, my daughter can't do this. And it's like, have you ever shown them? Like
Even
ever?
like little things, like on the topic of laundry, like how you get the laundry cup with your detergent? Why is that motherfucker so big? Who is filling that thing to the top? What size load are you putting in your laundry machine, in your washing machine, that you require an entire scoop of whatever
Yeah.
it is? An entire cup.
I
Zero
Dana
loads.
still don't actually know how
Me-
much I'm supposed to put in, so I just kind of guess. I'm like, that seems like
So
I
there
guess
should be
too.
small indentations
like
on
this.
it, and then it's like 1, 2, 3, 4 loads, right? There should be little indentations. If there's not, it's like 2 tablespoons because it's concentrated laundry detergent. So like it has to come out of your clothes and go somewhere. So it goes back into your washing machine. And then I just kind of think like long term, this is my ADHD. I apologize. But like that has to go somewhere. So it's going to get built up inside your washing machine and the hosing and the yada, 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 yada. So maybe use like less soap.
That's why you're supposed to like take your washer machine like apart and actually clean it every now and then. But I mean, who actually does that?
TikTok. People on TikTok do
Apparently
that.
TikTok people.
That
But
was a TikTok trend. I remember that. And that TikTok trend is specifically why I will never get a stackable washer and dryer, because watching people pull that gunk out of the rubber seal on the bottom. No.
I
Also,
find it
like-
funny because my parents, like, I helped my mom cook when I was younger a lot. So by the time I was old enough to actually cook on the stove, I had a fairly good idea of how to cook. And my parents made sure that I knew how. And I don't understand why more parents don't take it only takes a little bit of time to be like, hey, just come watch or something like that. Or help when they're young. It's not as hard as what people make it to be.
I mean, it's
what kid-
laziness, isn't it?
What
Like,
kid?
let's be
What
honest.
kid wants to go help mom in the kitchen when they're playing
I
fucking
helped
video
all
games?
the time.
Well,
When
I
I
was
was
not
younger.
that good of a child.
I mean,
But
it's
I'm
all
playing
how
a
you're
game.
raised.
But I went to school all day long. I don't want to cook. Well, you know, the argument that my mom would throw out, well, I've been at work all day and I'm cooking. I'm like, well, that's your job. I didn't ask to be here.
Yeah,
I
I
do
definitely get
find
that.
It's the type of thing that does annoy me. Is like parents. Sometimes some parents are just too lazy to do it or to be bothered to say, like, yes, it's going to take longer to do the cooking because, you know, your child doesn't know how to do this. So you're going to have to take longer to do this one thing. So, yeah, okay, it's a bit harder. But then 10, 13 years down the line, you can have them actually cook a meal. It's worth it. But then they don't do
Yeah.
that. And then like 10, 13 years down the line, they're like, oh, why don't you ever do anything? Why don't you know how to do this? Why don't you know how to do that? And it's like, you are the problem, not your child. Like,
I've heard arguments from both sides. I've heard adults, you know, like, oh, let them be kids. They can cook when they're adults. Show them how to cook and clean and whatever when they're old enough to like start living on their own, 16, 17 years old before they get out of the house. And then on the other end of the spectrum, like, no, if you are old enough to hold a pot of rice, you're going to help me rinse the motherfucker.
See, like, this is a problem as well. Reagan's mom, for instance, did too many things for him, and he's just now figuring out how to do all these things.
the
So,
thing is, Steph, your argument, either way, both of your ones was the parent still teaches. The problem is waiting until they're 16 and going, how come you don't know this? Like,
Oh yeah,
Like,
it's
expecting them to
toxic.
know
It's
all of it.
toxic. I mean, I'm 30 and I make one thing really, 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 really good, and it's salmon bowls, and half of that meal is a dollar box of rice-a-roni. So don't at me. That's it. That's peak cuisine in the Verona household.
I grew up in such a foodie household that, like, cooking to me it's one of those, like, pastimes that is both nostalgic and a necessity for me. So I hate my kitchen, but if I had a better kitchen, I could see myself cooking so much more.
I love that. Cooking for me is definitely a chore. More so because it's not something that you can necessarily half-ass. You have to do it the entire way, or you are not going to eat that night. You can't stop it in the middle. You have to pay attention the other time. I can't go smoke a joint in the middle of making dinner because I will burn it. I did it last night. I was like, it's just rice, it's browning. I'm just gonna go step out really quick and I'll check on this in a second. I come back, I'm like, shit.
Is that why Verona took over?
I just, you know, he helped me because I was doing the streaming thing, and yeah, my chat was dead at the time, and I was like, honey, please just let me go back and play the game. He honestly, he cuts me way more slack than I have earned. After this, I do need to go finish the laundry, so Sunday is my day. We met in the middle, and he told me if I got one more pay raise, I would be able to hire someone to come in and clean my house, like deep clean it. I am not. No, no. No. I fucking hate cleaning. That was always the goal, was to make enough money so I don't have to do it.
I joked to Reagan about that too the other day. Or it was to my parents. Don't remember. But I joked to someone about it. I was like, I just want to get paid enough so that I can just hire someone to clean. Because that's my least favorite thing to do. I can do all these other things, but I don't want to clean.
It's not a joke. It's not a joke. Make that the goal. Once you have like $200 is honestly a lot a month for someone to come and clean your house. But if you've got that kind of disposable income, like I am forgoing going out twice a month. And so I can just have someone come and like do my house every other week and just like get all the areas that I can't reach. No more like backbreaking days. I am so excited. I don't have to mop my floor anymore. I don't have to vacuum. I'm so excited. I still have to do everything else. But next stop, live-in housekeeper. I will never make that amount of money though. That's live-in housekeeper is like mansion size, and I will never have a house that big. It's just why. For what reason?
I don't think Reagan and I will ever make that much.
My husband talks about it all the time. He's like, yeah, I'd like to have a bigger house. I'm like, for what? We're not having kids. It's just the two of us. What, I get a bigger craft room? Is that what we're going for? Sure. All right. Why not? More shit.
We've already grown out of our 2-bedroom apartment. We already need 3 rooms. And I'm like, man.
Yeah.
It would be.
Three's the minimum right now.
Yeah. I have to have 3 from now on.
It's so the good happy compromise on that for anything bigger than 3 is 3 bedrooms with a basement if you live in a state that has basements, because then you guys can put your gaming entertainment area in your basement and then your bedrooms can be freed up. And if one of those bedrooms was for entertainment purposes, then you can do a 2-bedroom with the basement and then you still have your guest room and your bedroom and your entertainment, and it's cheaper.
100%. I would do that.
Just need just enough space for yourselves and the dog. And if you do plan on having kids one day, then like, yeah, maybe. But we don't. So no, it's good.
I hope that your basements are completely different from ours here in the UK, because I would hate to stream in my basement. It's cold, it's dark, it's creepy. Like,
no, basements here, there's a few that are like that, but for the most part, when you have like a basement that you plan on like being in, it's fully furnished, it's carpeted, you have central air and like heating, and it's actually pretty pog. It's like free real estate because the basements are never included in square footage either. So if you buy a house with the basement, it's just free square footage. It's not included. It's actually pretty pog. I do actually I have one more question for you guys. So and I'm happy to contribute my answer first, but what was the worst part of going through school? And you can either touch on high school or university, but like the thing that you absolutely hate the most about going through the education system. Mine was socialization. I could not fucking stand making friends, keeping friends, maintaining friends, socializing with people. It was so awkward. Everybody has like their weird home life, and then they come to school and it's like their school life, and then you'd hang out outside of it, and then you had like the friend circles and the cliques and the drama, and just I got out of school like 10 months early, and I did not graduate with my class. I graduated early. I had no interest in graduating with that class. I talked to one person throughout my entire 17 years of school. And even then we only talk like once every 6 months, if that.
I mean, I'm not even friends with anyone that I went to school with anymore. Like, no.
I am. I'm friends with probably more people from my high school than I am from college. Oddly enough, I don't know why that worked out the way it did, but it did. I think maybe because during college I roomed with my best friend that I met in 4th grade. So we kind of already had a thing going, and then our other best friend ended up joining us for the last 2 years of college. So we kind of stayed within each other.
Yeah, see, I definitely can't decide between whether bullying and friends was worse or PE, because like I hated physical exercise like 100%. Like, and they always made you go outside when it was like raining and cold, and then they also then say to you, why aren't you trying? And it's like, because I'm cold and like I would like to go back inside, please. Like I don't want to be here. I want to be warm and not doing exercise right now.
You want to hear a secret? You didn't actually have to participate in any of that.
Well, see, I didn't
I
a lot of
didn't.
the time, and then like people get annoyed at me because I'd be on their team and they'd be like fucking move, like do something, and I'd be like, no thanks.
No one bothered me on that front, because it's like, if I played kickball with you, you're gonna lose. I'm not no. So it's like, when we had to like run and do exercise, I would just sit on the bleachers and like, why get down here? No. Make me. Show me where I have to embarrass myself in front of the entire school. Go ahead. Show me where I signed up for that. Nah, I'm good.
No, I wish. I wish I didn't have to participate in any of that. It was not fun, you know? Like, it's cold.
Hindsight, I kind of wish I did. I've literally never worked out a day in my life. I am full potato. I've never like experienced the euphoria that people feel from like running. I've never gotten to that point.
I only have that during weight training and stuff like that. That's the only time that I really enjoy myself working out, which is a shame because I haven't in so long, but I love it. I need to get back into it.
I wish, like, instead of like the shitty gym, like, which wasn't even a gym, it was just like a hall that we use. I wish instead of that we had like an actual gym where they had like exercise bikes and like treadmills and stuff, because like I really enjoyed that part of it, like exercise. And even if they just had like, here's a room where you watch a video of someone taking you through an exercise routine to fun music, I would love that too. No, you get to run outside in the rain and kick a ball, which I hate.
With my school, we had the sport hall, which is like a gym. We then actually had a room with like exercise bikes, treadmills, rowing machines, weight things. And then we also had like a dance studio, which like some people did dance in it. I did it in like year 8, year 9. And then we used to go in there and do like the hula hooping and stuff and things like that. And it was pretty great.
It's amazing. I never thought of that shit.
I mean, I'm so jealous. PE for the past the last 2 years because of music lessons and counselling, but like I did like doing some of it.
That's amazing. The most fun thing we had was like pull-up bars and kickball. Fucking hated kickball. You know how many times I have been hit in the face with the fucking kickball?
I have no idea what
the
kickball
fact that it's
happened. Yeah,
it's they have to have kickball in the UK.
It's a ball and you kick it, and it's kind of like baseball, sort of.
No. That sound, you would know that sound.
I mean, we have dodgeball, but I think you guys have dodgeball, right?
Yeah,
we have dodgeball, and then we have kickball.
They're played with the same ball, right?
It's
it's a dodgeball.
Play with the same ball. You just kick it.
We don't have that.
What?
Yeah.
So what did they hit you with? What did the mean kids in school? I mean, unless you were the mean kid in school, what did they hit you with?
Words.
There is some giant plastic rubber ball that everybody got hit with through childhood. And if you're telling me that there's an entire part of the world that didn't have to be subjected to that, I have a complaint to file, okay?
I mean, they probably just used dodgeballs. I mean, to be fair, most of my bullies were like verbal. Like, I didn't get hit, so... I did have one person throw a ball at a wall and it bounced off and hit me in the face, but that wasn't on purpose.
I got hit a few times with stationery and things thrown across the classroom, but no ball or anything.
Well, That's just me over here showing my trauma.
In the US, I'm just gonna say
School sucked. Oh my
They
god,
didn't do
kickball
that
was
to
the
me,
excuse.
so
Oh yeah, I
kickball
was
fine.
definitely the kid in school that had shit thrown at them. It's you could not pay me to go back and redo those experiences. There's just not enough money in the world. There's just
Mine
not.
wasn't too bad, thankfully. So
I am very glad I do not have to deal with that anymore. It's so
Yeah.
funny though, because like in school, there's like the popular people and like the unpopular people, and then like you get to like being an adult, and like none of that fucking matters. Like it's so weird.
I was the group that was in between the unpopular and popular. I wasn't either. I was in between. So I knew
Yeah.
all the popular kids. They knew my name, but I didn't hang out with any of them outside of school. So
Yeah, that was literally me as well, Blaze.
Wow, rub it in.
See, I never hung out with anyone outside of school. I think I've been to like 2 sleepover birthday parties my entire life. That was not.
I
never
hang out with
did.
about 4-ish solid people throughout. Maybe, yeah. I mean, some of those people changed. So
Kind of dialing back a couple of minutes there, what Dana was saying. So like the clicks and the popularity bullshit that kids grow up and deal with through school, and it's like, I get it. Your entire world is school, and you've got the one person, and they're being terrible to you, and everyone in the school seems to love them, and now they hate you because they said something, and it wasn't even true, and it's absolutely ridiculous. It doesn't fucking matter. It might seem like it matters, but you literally have like 1,000,005 other things that you could be doing and focusing your energy on than the dipshit in school that doesn't like you. You know what's going to happen to that person? They're never going to leave their hometown. They peak in high school most of the time. That's what ends up happening. That's the best time of their life, is the time that they're being mean to you. And if there was some dickwad in the real working world that was acting like that towards you, they would lose their job. So like, have solace in that it's temporary. And I get it, when you're living through it and it's your entire life, it does matter to you. But in the grand scheme of things, the bullying, it doesn't matter. None of it matters. I wish I could comprehend that as a kid. I wish I could.
Like just reminded me of one phrase that I always just get at school, which is like when they would put you in a group with like somebody who clearly hated you, and they'd be like, oh well, you don't know who you're going to get put with when you work with people, like you just have to get on with things like that. And I'm like, yeah, but like when you're in the real world, people can't treat you the way that people at school treat you. And I honestly wish that teachers had actually cracked down harder on the people being mean than the people who were bullied and were like, I don't really want to like be in a group with this person who's an asshole. Like, maybe.
What's the expectation? Like, what do you expect your teacher to do though?
Not stick up for the person that's a bully, and like, don't tell me that you have a really good bullying policy, like anti-bullying policy, when you do fuck all when people tell you that you're being bullied. Like, don't come at me and say, oh yeah, we have a really good anti-bullying thing. Like, it's anti-bullying week. Okay, what the fuck are you actually doing? Oh, no, sorry, that girl's the popular girl and she hangs out with you during, like, break time. Oh, no, she couldn't possibly be a bitch. Ooh, it's, like, ridiculous. I think they should take people's... Like, if someone tells you they're being bullied and they, like, are being told, like, things that they should not, like, no child should have to hear, like telling people, that you should not be alive, then there should be some kind of action. And also the person being bullied should have access to counselling for the fact that they were being bullied, because it really damages your self-esteem, it damages you as a person, and I think that it's disgusting that schools don't do enough.
School counselors.
In the US, they're a joke. I don't know about there.
I mean, like a proper therapist.
In the US,
like,
yeah, exactly. Like they need someone that's actually qualified to dealing with young people. Like I'll tell you a really fucked up story. I brought forth my story of sexual abuse to my school counselor in middle school. Middle school? Yes, middle school. You know what this bitch did? She called him when I was in the car with him to tell him that he has accusations of sexual abuse
Oh my
from yours
god.
truly.
That is fucking.
I will never forget that woman's name. I will never forget that woman's name.
Yeah. I
That
wouldn't
woman
either.
took my life from hell to foster care. It was less than a year later that I was in foster care. That was my choice. It was either stay in the situation where there is literally no support. Because it's, and looking back on it at the age of 30, like honestly, not qualified, had no idea what to do, didn't consult anybody that actually knew what the fuck to do. So she did what I guess she thought was the best thing to do, and that was to talk to the person that was being accused to let them know that they were being, like, I'm just, bruh. So it's the reason I asked that question is like, you know, what would you expect the teachers to do? Because they then have to get parents involved, because they don't really have another course of action, because they can't bring social services in for every single thing that happens within like a child's life. And it's just wholly fucked up. But like the kids pick up that behavior from home. And a lot of times, sometimes it's acting out, there's neglect, their parents drink, they get beaten on a regular basis, so they have to go through that overachieving. They blossom in the social aspect because that's the kind of interaction they have. They've got whatever, bullying at home, their older brothers beat the shit out of them on a daily basis, whatever. Kids have a lot of fucked up shit going on. I don't know exactly where I was going with that, but that's why I wanted to ask that question is like, you know, what is there to do in the schooling systems? And now, especially now in schools, there's so many students per teacher ratio. It's just impossible to keep up.
I agree with you. I just think from my experience, all the blame is put on the person who's being bullied, and nothing ever happens to the person who's bullying, and they seem to be okay with that. They're like, yeah, okay, we'll just get the victim to like shut up, and then hey, no more bullying. Look, we've got anti-bullying because we just basically made them feel like they're shit, so they're not gonna speak up anymore. So hey, problem solved. There's no more bullying here. Rather than like getting to the root cause and trying to like talk it through, or like anything really. Like I don't know. Obviously, you can't get like somebody every single time to go to social services or whatever, but I do think like there's something that should be done. Like they can't
even
just
separating
ignore it.
them.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
just separating them
you're
in
in
a
this
room.
different class now.
Yeah. Just
It's,
take away the opportunity for the situation.
I feel like my graduation from a child, a teenager, a young adult into a fully fledged adult happened the day that I kind of stopped giving a fuck what everybody else thought and started acting and thinking for myself. And I still kind of go through that struggle. Like I catch myself making decisions and taking actions because I'm like, well, so-and-so will see that I did yada, 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 even if it's just my husband. And, you know, taking that step back and being like, but what do you think is the best decision? What do you think should be done? And I think as children going through school, if I had had that mentality, I think things would have been a lot easier. And I wouldn't have been as susceptible to being bullied because I didn't actually give a fuck what anybody thought. But I don't know if young brains are actually capable of that.
I think I don't know. I did the opposite. I didn't really care as a kid what people thought, and it seems like now that I'm adult, I care a lot more. So,
really, Allie, what do you think
weird.
about that? Just given with your background with like early childhood and working with kids so much, like what would your advice be on bullying or handling it, or even just advice for people that are going through it? Like how the fuck do you get through that?
I guess everyone's different. I mean, I got bullied a lot, like pretty much all the way through school, primary and secondary school. So yeah, I mean, it depends on the whole like situation, what school you go to. Like schools have different ways of dealing with things. I mean, my school, like there were certain teachers who honestly did pretty much try and do like anything to try and help me. There was like one teacher I spoke to a lot, she basically asked to be like my mentor in like year 11, the last school year. And like I'd meet up with her and just talk about things. And yeah, the counselor in school wasn't the best. But yeah, I mean, it honestly depends on the school and that the like child goes to or that we went to, really.
I've always loved the teachers that would bend over backwards for their students. Like, those are the teachers who really make a difference.
Mm.
Fucking pay teachers more. Can we just end with that? Just
Yeah.
what we and I kind of feel like teachers don't get the support that they need because everything in school, like, and I'm strictly speaking, of course, on the US. I'm not sure how they are across the pond, but like everything's standardized testing now. You don't
Mhm.
actually learn shit in school. You learn how to take tests. That's all it is. It's not even like information retention. It's this is the information that I'm giving you. Go find it in these books, and then just make sure that you like retain it just through the test. I don't know. We are getting to the tip top of our hour. Do you guys have anything else? Any other questions? Any other comments, concerns, topics?
I was just gonna say, to add on to what Ali said, about the fact that like there were some good teachers. Like I remember getting assaulted, like at school, like physically attacked by somebody, and being told that because it was 2 days until the end of the school year that they couldn't do anything about it, and like they did nothing. And then my tutor made sure for the end of the year and the following year, that when I like was going from tutor to my next class, like I had somebody with me. And like when I was waiting like outside of my tutor for my cousin so we could leave, like someone would be waiting with me so that I wasn't like alone, because like that person threatened to put me in like the hospital, like, and the school did nothing. But the teacher, the couple of teachers there were that were actually good and cared about people's welfare and well-being, actually did something. And I would say definitely those there's always like a couple of teachers that stick in your mind, and like for a good reason. Obviously there's the shit ones, and like I appreciate those ones so much more like than the actual overall schooling system. I am curious about like everybody's kind of like schooling history, whereas like, because for me I did like secondary school, college, apprenticeship, degree. I just kind of wondered on like your terms, like kind of how you went through school, like what ones did you do?
Oh, so I had pretty traditional schooling up until third or fourth grade. After I had third grade, I switched schools to a different school. My mom moved. I did fourth grade, fifth grade, and sixth grade at the same school, and then no, fourth grade and fifth grade at the same school, and then went to a middle school for 3 years. After I went there, I went into foster care probably like my second or third month of my first year of high school. Skipped around a bunch of schools from there. God, I probably went to like 8 different high schools. My last actual grade completed, I think, was 9th grade. Went to Colburn Job Corps, got my GED, got a Cisco certification, graduated at 17, and literally just like, as much as I want to go to college, I have a hard time stomaching spending anywhere between 25 to 80 grand for a degree that I might not use. And now at the age of 30, it's really like certifications are the way to go. I don't really see myself going back and completing a degree. That's no longer really the way that the working world works anymore. And it's nice to see on a resume, but I mean, what does a degree really prove anymore? That you stuck with something for 4 years? I've got that longevity on my resume. I don't really need it right now. So now it's just like pursuing certifications just to kind of hone in and specialize and master whatever field that I'm in.
Same. that's basically where I'm going with mine. Just I'm looking into more certifications to see what I can really do. And I guess that'll lead me to what I want to do in the future, because I'm still not sure this is my forever job. So
Did you just have the traditional like K through 12, Blaze? Did you
yeah,
stay
I
in the
just
same
went.
city?
Yes, I have grown. I was born and raised in the same city, and then for college, I moved 4 hours away. So,
Nice. You really just stayed in the same area the whole time.
yep. And I probably wouldn't have moved to the college that I went to if it wasn't for my best friend, because she applied there and it made me apply. So, I guess I thank her for that.
Oh. What about you, Ali? What was your schooling history?
Primary school, secondary school, college, university. Same
So,
places all the
traditional.
way through. Yeah.
It's fair enough. I am curious how everyone faked it or made it this week.
Oh, same. That's how I feel about this week.
I am like 3 short weeks away from exactly 4 weeks away from hiring somebody. So I have just been kind of a one-woman show and just no, I'm good. I'm not drowning. I'm not drowning at all. This is fine. You need something else done? Let me know. I'll add it to the list. Not a big deal. And then the Animal Crossing update hit, and I have done fuck all this weekend. I literally streamed for 16 hours yesterday. Like, I have my Switch right next to me. I'm going to go throw in some laundry. I'm going to go camp out in bed, and I'm going to do laundry and play Animal Crossing. So the way that I have faked it this week is I am absolutely approaching burnout, and I am just going to pretend like it's not happening, and we're going to make it through this last month. I'm going to have some help. They're going to get onboarded within 3 weeks, and they are going to hit the ground running by January 1st of 2022, and I will hear nothing otherwise.
Solid plan.
I kind of had a shit show of a week a little bit. Like Monday, my car was messed up, couldn't get into my car, or I couldn't move it, so I thought I was gonna have to tow it. Then I broke my glasses Thursday night. I had to express ship new glasses, which I am wearing today, thankfully. And then I got moved to a new team at work, so I guess the way that I was faking it this week is by acting like I was totally cool moving to a new team, because I'm freaking out about it, but it looks like a great opportunity, so I think it'll work out perfectly fine.
I guess with me, with studies, work, everything else that I do, anxiety was very high this week. Still is quite high, but not as high as it was. So yeah, the way I kind of faked it was just continuing with everything else as if nothing was wrong. But yeah,
it's all you can do sometimes.
What about you, Dana?
I would say same as everyone else. It's been a really shit week mentally for me. Also, like the clocks went back last week, which I didn't think was gonna mess with me so much, but like I don't like that it gets dark so early now. I also don't like driving in the dark like so much because just all the lights like right in my face, and I was like, it's fine, I'll be fine. Wednesday I ended up calling in sick because I literally had the worst migraine ever. I wanted to cease to exist for just a couple of hours just for the pain to stop. That's how bad it was. But then Thursday I went to work, Friday I went to work. Yesterday I didn't really want to see my friends because I've just been getting really anxious. I haven't seen them for ages. I know I talked it through with Steph, and I ended up going, and I got there at 3 o'clock. I didn't leave till 11 at night. We just had a really good, intense talk, which I think I needed because mentally I've not been great. I just keep getting like down like on myself as well, and I think I just need to kind of like feel it, because I've just been kind of like ignoring it, like I don't have time for that, like I've got work to do, like, you know. And honestly, I wish maybe I just played Animal Crossing this weekend. I think that would have been a much better way to spend my time. Definitely. But I think the way I've been faking it is not having a mental breakdown, so yay. Yay.
Well, we made it through the week.
We did.
Yay us.
Yeah.
Woo!
I mean, it's something that always has brought me comfort throughout my life, is that no one can stop tomorrow from coming. So if something is taking a long time, have some comfort in knowing that the time will pass, the minutes will pass regardless. I'm sure we're all familiar with the phrase watching paint dry. So try to hyper focus on everything other than the time passing, and it should go a little bit quicker. And plus, the older you get, the faster it goes. So maybe we could just pump the brakes on that just a little bit, because we are nearing the middle of November 2021, and I'm not really sure where the fuck the last 13 years have gone. Like I graduated high school like 5 years ago. What is this?
We've really like affected you with the maths of when you last like
I wish I never looked that up. I really wish I had never looked that up. I'm so
I feel
upset.
like we should apologize to you.
I just gross. But yeah, no, that's it. That is the We're All Just Faking It podcast, episode 2. We appreciate you guys joining us. We are available on all major platforms. Dana.
So thank you guys so much for listening, and we hope you found some value. Join us on Discord to access resources. Join us on Discord to access resources mentioned in each episode and find your people. Next episode, our topic will be mental health during the holidays, which is very current at the moment. And follow us on all major social media platforms for episode airing date.